Hey guys, let's chat for a little bit. I want to talk about Queen Esther, as I keep seeing the numbers 414. So I decided to look into that book a little bit. I'm also taking that course in seminary. So I wanted to talk to you guys about Esther. The most interesting thing about Esther that I find is not just her, her lineage, but the particular place that God allowed her to be positioned in. When we look at Haman, we find out that King Ahasuerus placed him in the highest seat. Okay, so that means he can govern next to the king. None of the wise men, the chamberlains, would be able to sidetrack him or hinder any plan that he would like to plot. And so we know that Haman did not like Mordecai. And Haman found out that Mordecai was a Jew, okay? And so that hatred was stirred even further by the enemy. Just like we don't see God in the book, all right, of Esther, the words G-O-D, we know that God is behind the scene. So is the enemy. See, the enemy worked in Haman's heart, just like he did with Judas. Judas had a love for money, and the enemy used Judas, his heart, to bring about the crucifixion of Jesus. So here it is, Haman is being used by the enemy to annihilate all Jews to hinder God's plan. So since Haman was placed in the seat of authority, God already knew all this. So what God did is not just chose a woman, not just choosing a Jew, but he chose Esther because she was from the lineage of the sons of Israel, the household of Judah. So she already came from a qualified background to take a place of authority. So God had to find a rightful way to put his power back in place. And so what he did, he placed his power in Esther. All right, so Esther received this favor to be chosen by King Ahasuerus, placing her seat and authority. What kind of authority? A high seat, right? Her authority was pretty much matched with with Haman, even above that, right? So when Haman plotted, God had a plan. And so we read further on that Haman, he wanted the Jews to be annihilated, right? And so we know Esther counteracted that with a fast. Now, when you read Esther chapter 4, the people of Shushan actually fasted, but nothing was done. But when Esther called forth the fast, God accepted her fast, right? And the people of Israel benefited from that fast. It's like the Lord answered her fast because, for one, she was in that place of authority. So her fast actually was acknowledged by God, and God gave her wisdom. Now, when you look at the story, you see that Esther, Queen Esther, invited Haman and Ahasuerus to a banquet, and she did this twice. And some may think that Esther was nervous or she was trying to figure out some things. I know I did. But when you look at the story, when Queen Esther went to King Ahasuerus, King Ahasuerus reached out to her and gave her favor by extending his scepter, I guess you can call it that. But he told Queen Esther something very valuable. He said, "What is it, Queen Esther? I will give you the land. I'll give you maybe half the kingdom." I'm not sure which words he said, but it was something of that nature. And so right then and there, that gave Queen Esther more clarity to know what she can ask for. So she invited King Ahasuerus and Haman again. And the second time, the king told her, "Whatever you want, you may have." So she had already received the favor and the grace for King Ahasuerus, all right, to take whatever she needed. And so she was able to further that second banquet with the plan of action to take out Haman. And she had all rights to do so. She was given the authority by God to do it. She was more than qualified. She came from the right lineage. And with that being said, God also reestablished the kingship, the ruleship that needed to be carried out for the Israelites. What a wise God. Wow. So maybe we can look further into Haman's background. I think a few of us may know already that he was from a lineage that was hated by God. And this lineage did not like the Israelites. So it was already an opportunity for the enemy to work through Haman because of where he comes from. And again, it was an opportunity for God to work through Esther because of where she came from. All right, until next time, take care. God bless you.